Combat was volatile, uncertain, ambiguous. The environment, tactics, and rules of engagement changed constantly. I had to follow a set of uncommon values when I couldn't see through the fog of war. This brings me to the sixth and final secret. To lead an extraordinary life, live by a code. It will guide the way.
Because I've already fixed the problem that I'm no longer telling stories. I'm holding myself accountable for my actions every day of my life. That takes away that equation. But that equation is the hardest one to do before you start your journey, is that you have to have a code, an ethos of yourself. Every man and woman must form their own ethos on what they stand for in their or her life. They have to stand for something, or you stand for nothing. So when you're in that situation, it's hard for you to lie, because you can't lie, because you know now, I hold myself to a higher standard than even the Navy SEALs are holding me to. You know what I'm saying?
So the most influential people were very clear. Why? Because they lined up their thoughts, their words, and actions to the thing that matters most to them. And that's what a philosophy is about. Everybody already has one. You have one, I have one. Whether we could articulate it at knife point in a dark alley, totally different element, right? And so I think that that's a nice litmus test. Like, could you get it out in front of a deranged person who's got a knife to your throat? Like, are you that clear what you stand for? And do you have your personal philosophy? So that's the litmus test for folks that I work with.
I started preparing for this job the minute I left Phoenix. I spent 4 more years in TV, and during those 4 years, I really started to gather my thoughts. I pursued a lot of people who are friends, acquaintances, pursued advice from them. And I had a lot of great advice, one of which came from Jeff Van Gundy, who works in television, coached in the NBA for years and years. He said, take all your thoughts and just put them down on paper. Keep a computer file, and anytime something pops into your head, write it down. And start to develop what your philosophy is going to be, what you're going to be like as a coach, what your rules are, what your atmosphere is going to be like in practice every day, what your principles are. It was great. It was really great advice, because over the course of a couple of years, I literally wrote a book, like, this is what I want to do. And I started to get different ideas from different coaches. I was visiting different coaches from different sports. Pete Carroll was a huge influence, Seahawks coach. Visited their training camp for a couple of days and was blown away by the atmosphere, the fun and the joy and the energy. And I thought, that's what I want our practices to be like. And visited with other coaches, basketball coaches, baseball managers, and it was fun. It was just great to meet all these people and to put all these thoughts together and say, all right, now I'm ready. And I wasn't ready in Phoenix, but I came here knowing I was ready. Well, one of the things that I realized from visiting with all these coaches is that you have to have a set of principles that you base everything on. And a lot of coaches talked about this, but Pete Carroll was probably the most influential in that regard. He talked about how your personality as a coach has to be reflected in the workday, in the environment that the players come to every day. And so who you are as a human being, they have to grasp that and feel it, and without you saying, this is who I am. It's got to be the environment. And so one of the things that I always found as a player was that I played my best when I was just having fun. And so we talk about joy all the time, and we try to bring it in practice through humor, through competition, through whatever. We get people to come in to talk to our team at times. We'll take them to the movies. We'll go bowling on a day when they're expecting to go to practice, and I know the guys are fried, and we'll just take them to do something totally different. So part of what made me a good player was that I felt that joy for the game. And I had to fight for that sometimes when I get too stressed out about whatever was happening. And so I try to bring joy every single day to our guys as often as we can. That's what our staff does. And that's one of really 3 or 4 kind of core values that we share as a staff.